It's full moon tomorrow. In fact, it's a full-fledged lunar eclipse, which is just another way to say an amplified full moon. And full moon is the best time of the month to do some release work. This month, I am doing something different from my usual rituals. I was inspired to do some dream work by Gary Renard. I was rereading one of his books. I love his books. And he doesn't refer to that practice as dream work, but effectively that is it. When you invite your guide to step in and heal subconscious guilt from, and then you fall asleep, that is a dream work. It turns out that there are traditions that they call it explicitly. Only 2 weeks after I started this little routine that Gary put out in his book, I came across a book about dream work. And that aligned actually with the Tibetan traditions of dream work. So I was like, that's what I have been doing. It was slightly different routines. So for a while, there was a little bit of screeching, 2 routines. Which one do I do? Do I do both? Do I do one? In the end of the day, it's like, never mind. So after a month, I actually stopped doing any dream work until I saw the moon. Have you seen it? So big and red and through the trees in my neighborhood as I do my nightly walk. And then I remembered the full moon is the best time for release work. So this month, my release ritual is actually a dream work. I kept it simple because I consider myself a beginner in this practice, so I didn't want anything complicated. So I limited myself to simply saying, inviting my guides. In my case, I like to invite the Holy Spirit because I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. And so I invited my guide to step in and I gave them permission to heal unresolved trauma and guilt in my subconscious. It's important to acknowledge that it's the subconscious because that is where the big issues are lingering, right? They're lurking and most of the times we don't even know what they are. But our guides know. And so if we are very clear and explicit in our asking for help and giving them the permission to step in and heal that subconscious guilt or trauma, they will do that for us. And as soon as I did it 2 nights ago, my dreaming intensified. In fact, it's so intense that just this morning, my husband had to wake me up in the wee hours of the night because apparently I was fidgeting and showing extreme signs of distress. So I appreciate that. I was very grateful that he saved me from my nightmare. And that has been a frequent occurrence for the last 2 nights. I dream, I wake up, I dream, I wake up. So what do? There's actually a way to get over that disturbance, and I will share my favorite practice here, what I do in the middle of the night after I wake up after a nightmare. And that practice comes from the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu, which is a subtle energy practice with roots in yoga. In it, we use our hands to place them lightly at different positions along the body. No pressure. This is not a massage. The idea behind this practice is that there's subtle energetic currents that are serving as the blueprint for our body. And so if you can clear up some loads or some blocks along those energetic pathways, you feel better. So the flow, the practice that helps the best for me in the middle of the night is the diaphragm flow. The proper Jin Shin Jyutsu name is actually the harmonizing sequence for the diaphragm function energy. And that practice harmonizes the subtle energetic circulation along the meridian of the pericardium. That's what the traditional Chinese medicine will call it. Either way, I call it a diaphragm flow because it's easy. Anyway, it's very easy. There's several steps, but I never do more than one. The anchor step works very nicely for me. I take my hand, I place it here on my elbow. With the other hand, I place it here at the lower rib cage. You can actually feel where the ribs extend and you just place your hand. No pressure, just lightly. You can see it like this, or you can do the other side. You can put your hand on the opposite elbow and the opposite lower rib cage. It's very easy and comfortable, especially if you're sleeping on your back. It's very efficient actually in clearing up all my head after a nightmare to see. It's not that the ugly images disappear, but somehow I see through them, and in my heart I know that they are not real. No amount of pep talk or any other practice has ever been as efficient as this diaphragm flow. 5 to 10 minutes, and then I just look through the dream as like, oh, okay. And that's it. And the only thing left is really the gratitude that this will never have to be worked out in my waking life. That's the beauty of the dream work. Whatever you work out in that dream work is worked out. It's gone. It's purged out of your subconsciousness. You never have to encounter it either in dreams or in waking life. I have purged a lot of issues even before I knew about dream work. I guess maybe I was always inclined to do that. Relationships where you're trying to free or distance yourself, or relationships that are turning toxic, fears that something bad might happen, or whatever it is, you work it out in the dream work and it's gone. I hope you give it a try. And I hope it works out just as well for you as for me. And don't forget, if you wake up in the middle of the night, there is a way to calm your nerves after those intense dreams. You place one hand on the elbow and the other one goes on the opposite lower rib cage. Happy dreaming!